Let me pull up the screen.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jaso, and today we're doing a little prequel session, a little chapter slash session zero. It's not going to be anything about putting characters together because we already have two of our characters for our upcoming campaign put together, but basically, we're just going to be doing a little introductory session zero for Amanda here, who's going to be playing Alloy, the Tabaxi Artificer. And I'm also joined by Kevin, who is playing Monifa, the Tabaxi Monk slash Rogue. And we're just going to be walking through a little bit of a mini session. I don't imagine this is going to take terribly long, but just to get not only Amanda used to Roll20, but both of them used to their new characters and test out any abilities that they want to or anything else. This is basically a prequel for our upcoming campaign next Friday called Devils in the Details. That's going to be taking place Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's the beginning of a new campaign. If you guys have not checked out any of my other campaigns, it's a great jumping in point because it'll be new, but it'll be helpful if you've watched the other campaigns, like Weird and Wild, to get an idea of exactly what's going on in terms of the fuller breadth of the setting. But you certainly don't need to, because I'll be going over a lot of things and going into things in more detail for the players here. So Alloy and Monifa, mother and daughter Tabaxi.
Mother and child.
How long have you guys lived in Halcyon? I think you're on mute too, Kevin. Hang on. There we go.
Yes, me and my sweet daughter.
How long have you guys been living here in Halcyon, would you say?
Well, Alloy, is it Alloy?
Alloy.
Alloy was born here.
Okay.
I moved here when I was about 6 months pregnant with her.
Okay.
Found that. So she's been here all her life. And how old are you?
She's like 20.
Okay. So, yeah, been on Halcyon for about 20 years.
So, you guys have been living on Halcyon, Amanda, your whole life as Alloy. Halcyon is an artificial world created by the Bullionaire Bastion, one of the four main factions of the Twixt, who's part of a conglomerate called the Cosmo Consortium, which is essentially just a union of the four largest guilds of the Twixt that help cover everything from agriculture to healing to science to medicine. The Bullionaire Bastion is the chief leader in terms of the capital that flows through all of the Twixt plane here. Although we're not going to get too in depth with the Twixt plane because most of the action is just going to be taking place here on Halcyon itself. But basically, Bullionaire Bastion is the leader in commerce and trade, as well as entertainment throughout the Twixt. So the city itself has been artificially crafted and essentially looks like a large flat coin from a distance. On the top side, there is an artificial sun or star set up high above many of the high-rise buildings, and that is called the top side, where the lavish marketplaces take place. A lot of business and trade happens up here, and there's a lot of very tall verticality to the buildings here that is a bit of a rarity throughout the rest of the Twixt, and that's only because of the amount of money that flows through here. A lot of the elements in this town is actually made up of gold, and where one would normally imagine that would be a nightmare for people to try and make sure that a bunch of sticky-fingered thieves weren't just running through and taking everything because practically everything is made of gold. There is a security force that is hired by the Bullionaire Bastions called the Gold Eye, and they consist of a number of races. It's not a particular race. It's a prestigious class that these guards essentially have undertaken, and the Gold Eye have the special ability to sense metals being carried on a person. So they are essentially like walking X-ray machines. So if they notice that there is a certain piece of gold or metal being carried by someone that seems at a place that they can sense on their person, then they'll just go and ask them. So security is actually pretty tight here on Halcyon, despite the just pure amount of gold that runs through it. That is the top side. Underneath the top side, there is nothing but the ambient light of the distant stars that gives the bottom half, called the lux, the nighttime atmosphere that it has. And underneath here, this is a large portion of where most people go to sleep during the night, because they kind of have to just figure out their sleep rhythm themselves, because there's not a natural day-night cycle. They just, when it's time for them to sleep, they can usually either go to their place that's either on top side, located on top side, or head down below to Lux, where it's darker and at least gives them that sense of nighttime where they can sleep. This is also the district. Lux is the area where a lot of the entertainment happens. So you'll find a lot of concert grounds, parties, entertainment happening, where the lighting is more natural and darkened, so that it gives it this much more of a fanfare to the nature of the happenings going on. So much more professional top side, and much more entertainment wise on the bottom side, where it's night. And you guys can traverse there using these turnstiles. Basically, the center of gravity is at the center of the coin. So you guys step into these little areas and you turn a lever, and basically this large circular platform, it's almost like an elevator, just a very strange, it's strangely designed, because it's this circular platform that essentially, as you stand on it, just begins to flip like a coin very slowly. And because you're standing at the center of gravity, there's a bit of a vertigo feeling to it, but it just turns you upside down, and then you can just walk around on Lux. So you guys have certainly become acquainted with the top side and bottom side of Halcyon. You have certainly mingled with quite a few of the people here. Everyone staying here has quite a bit of money on them, although there is equally a lot of people who visit Halcyon to do trading, a lot of mercantile work that happens in the streets here. So sometimes a couple people may stay for a couple days to do their trades and head out. Not everyone necessarily lives here in town. There is a lot of visitors here to this place. It's always busy. The city streets are always usually filled with some elegant music, and the footsteps of nobles passing through the streets, or just well-dressed citizens covered in their opulent gold jewelry and fine things. Similar to Monifa here, who just kind of wears her wealth on her person, showing off her accents. And Monifa, you work as essentially what did you tell me last night? What do you do for the Bullionaire Bastion?
I mean, what I actually do for them is
This voice, I love it.
corporate espionage, you might call it. You know, there may be rivals for any particular business we don't control, so we make sure we know everything about them that we need to. I help with that.
Interestingly enough, everything that you, Monifa, have been assigned to do is always above the books. It may skirt that line of being like, this, if I was to take any further steps or maybe touch anything in this room, it would be illegal. But technically, if you were ever to be caught carrying out any of the tasks that the Bullionaire Bastion has sent you on, you would technically be doing nothing illegal. And you would know that you would have the full force of the lawyers and everyone else to represent you from Bullionaire Bastion. So you get away with a lot, and it has maybe even put you on a little bit of a pedestal in terms of your ego and thinking, the world is your oyster, essentially, especially with the backing of such a large faction to do with you. If anything, you may have done some things that the Bullionaire Bastion has, because of your work, been able to turn away their eyes once or twice here. But I would imagine you largely play above the board and don't do too many illegal activities out in the open, at least. And let's see.
That sounds about right.
Alloy, you are a mechanic for the Bastion, correct?
Yes.
So you being an artificer, you are one to help them with. So Halcyon, in terms of a technology level is relatively sophisticated. Not nearly as much as something that you may be used to, Kevin, in terms of like Neo Gokyo or anything, but there are a lot of devices that are usually built with a certain amount of artificer know-how, infused with magic. Think steampunk just powered with more magic instead of any type of fossil fuel or anything. So there's a lot of...
Do they have like some constructs and stuff?
Yeah, there's a couple constructs around here. A lot of their technology in terms of... So on the top side where the sun is, floating above the surface of this large, flat, almost coin-like appearance of the Halcyon itself are these floating platforms that essentially serve as the bank vaults for Bullionaire Bastion and their clientele. And on these platforms are these large structures that are essentially like big vaults. Some of them are even set up and are so detailed that it's almost like walking into someone's large basement of their house, and there's multiple rooms to them. But each of these are guarded not only by mechanical mechanisms in terms of vault doors closing and opening, but they're also usually powered and protected by magic. So someone with your expertise, Alloy, you would certainly be apt to work here and make sure for the Bullionaire Bastion that things like their spelljammers, spelljammers are used to get not only from the surface on and off of the world itself, but also to traverse from the bottom level to fly up to these individual floating platforms where the bank vaults are. So you've definitely spent a lot of time on these spelljammers, fixing them up, ones that are specifically just kind of kept here on the homeworld of Halcyon that just take people to and fro almost like a taxi or ferry. You've also done plenty of artificer work in terms of making sure some of the technology of the actual vault doors and stuff is up to par. And I assume, as we've talked about, you in your free time do a lot of playing around and constructing some of your own constructs and stuff, enough to have assembled a little companion that can come with you whenever you head on to places. That is you've tinkered with a couple different ones, but I think currently you're just playing with a dog version of a construct. So
yeah,
right now, go ahead.
Sometimes she makes other little things too.
He's made me a couple little fun trinkets for when I need to get away fast.
Little trinkets, and she'll make like little animal things, the homunculus servants.
So we talked about last night, you guys live probably in one of the high-rise towers that is located either nearby or maybe in the same structure that a lot of the Halcyon Bullionaire Bastion offices are. You guys enjoy a 40-foot up view of the spread of the top side of Halcyon, being able to look over it. The glittering gold as you step out onto your balcony is a beautiful sight. And I also want to clear up, because I probably already forgot. Do you guys live together? Or Allo, do you have your own place?
Yeah, I think we live together.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. You're always welcome with me, daughter.
But Alloy spends a lot of time at the shop.
I was going to say, it is likely that your guys' work habits keep you out of your room. Like any super rich person out there, CEO of a business, you're probably working a large portion of your day. But it certainly is always nice when you do have the time to come home that you can enjoy the kind of lavish nature of your large open suite that you have here up on the 4th floor, one of these high-rise towers that you can kind of look over the other buildings around here. The artificial sun in the sky makes a number of the golden structures here of Halcyon just sort of glitter and glint. You can look over and actually see the plaza from here, both of you guys, and see all the people moving to and fro and all of the tents and trading stands that are taking place here, and watch all of the action and enjoy it from a distance. So you guys have been working here for some time. You are no stranger to occasionally helping out, or sometimes hindering, in your case, Monifa, certain clientele of the Bullionaire Bastion. And it was only recently that, Alloy, you were summoned by the Bullionaire Bastion with helping out a particular customer, a client of theirs. It is an Eidolon, which is a homebrew race in my game, so it's not a D&D race. But essentially, an Eidolon is a humanoid who looks very similar to a human, but they are essentially the race who has spent generations upon generations in terms of trying to beautify themselves. And so they have usually very angular features, very exaggerated features. They view their appearance as both an art form and a way to express their individuality. So they're usually dressed in extravagant dresses or outfits that give off this sense of sharing who they are as a person. A lot of them usually very flamboyant in their style. Their hair is very important to them. A lot of them is long and usually done up in a certain way. They're also they have the racial ability to extend and move their hair around, and it kind of has a mind of its own. Glosse.
Bayonetta.
Yeah, pretty much. Glosse from our main campaign. I don't know if you've ever seen the picture for her, but she is a Eidolon. I'm sure I have a picture for her somewhere. Hang on.
That's Bay's character, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
have you seen the picture for her?
No, I don't think so.
Let me see if I can just pull it up here. Let's see. Go over to this one. Go to Glosse. So there's Glosse's icon. She's an Eidolon.
Oh, yeah.
Covered in tattoos. Holds a microphone. Is very charismatic. So that's kind of a look at that race. So one of these clients of the Bullionaire Bastion, who is an Eidolon, their name is Porphyry. And they are a male client who you are given some paperwork on to let you know who they are. They are relatively tall, and they have bluish hair that kind of shoots out up at the top, similar to like a JoJo-like character, if you've ever seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Think of like, like Japanese school bully, how they have that like poofy hair that sticks out in the front. Who is it from Yu Yu Hakusho? Is it Kuwabara who kind of had something maybe like that? There may have been some character from that.
Yeah, has like tall hair.
Yeah, like kind of just shoots out in the front. But basically, this Eidolon was needing some help and contacted Bullionaire Bastion. So they have pulled and sent notice to both you, Alloy, as well as you, Monifa. And as you guys head over to the Bullionaire Bastion offices, they just go over with you very quickly, and we won't roleplay this, but essentially they share the information with you guys that their client, Porphyry, is having some issues with their particular bank vault. And one of the things that they put in a support ticket for is essentially that not only do they find the front door to their vault to be faulty, but last time they checked, which was a matter of hours ago, they found the vault door not only cracked open and so basically, Alloy, you would be familiar with this. The vault doors, people in Halcyon carry a magic card in their hands, and this card is tied to themselves. So think of like a credit card in real life. Instead of having to, in D&D, like, okay, we want to do this big trade with you, I'm going to give you 30,000 gold. Instead of literally like taking a cart full of those gold pieces and trading it with someone else, what they do is they keep it in their vault and they use their cards, similar to like a real life credit card, to essentially transfer the wealth. And then Bullionaire Bastion will transfer the money from their vaults to one another. So it takes all of the grunt work out of it. But to access their particular vaults, they just use this magic card that has the emblazoned logo of Bullionaire Bastion, which is this entwined-looking circular ring with a crown in the center. They essentially use this card and they put it up to this arcane terminal at the front of their vault, and this allows them to open the door. So only their card will open it. They've mentioned, though, that recently the terminal hasn't been working for them. And a couple hours ago when they went to go visit, they found their door cracked open. The terminal that usually opens or closes their vault using their card was not functioning correctly. So they want you to check it out, Alloy. But they also heard some strange scratching and very faint noises coming from within their vault. So they put in a support ticket with Bullionaire Bastion, and they have called both of you guys, Alloy for you to check it out, but also Monifa for you to go along with them, because it could very well be the case, although this is an extreme rarity, that it is the potential that some ne'er-do-wells may have potentially cracked one of their vaults, which would be surprising to them. But they want you guys to go check it out. They specifically, in this ticket for you, Alloy, it mentions that they want you, Porphyry, he wants you to fix the main vault door, and he also wants you to head down into the cellar and just make sure that the rest of the doors, because he mentions he has various rooms that holds a number of his valuables. He doesn't want you to go into any of those rooms. He simply wants you to just make sure and inspect each of them and make sure that each of them are properly not only closed, but still have their arcane trappings on them. Because you know, as a security measure, if someone was to just get inside, even if they get through the main vault door, if they try to get into any of the individual rooms, if they just try to like grab at the handle and open the door, they're gonna trigger the magic and essentially get a solid zapping.
Okay.
Yeah.
He also mentions do not take anything. Simply fix the front door and make sure the rest of the defenses in the lower level are securely in place.
Okay.
So you guys have been hired to do this. You finish reading your notes and doing a bit of communication with one of the Bullionaire Bastion reps and wrap the scrolls of these notes together and put them back in your packs and head over to one of the high-rise platforms on the same building, this high-rise structure that you live in, and hop on one of the Bullionaire Bastion ferries that takes you up high above the city. It's always an adventure looking out any of the portholes as you're riding the Spelljammers up to one of the bank vaults, because it just gives you a beautiful view of the city itself. And it continues to rise and lands on one of the platforms that holds this particular member, Porphyry's bank. As you guys step out, think of it like a large, the size of it is the size of something that you'd find on like a airport strip where there is a entire hangar for something like a Cessna or something like this. So a large open space. The platform here is very wide. think of the Dragon Ball Z. What's the place at Kami and Dende? The lookout, yeah.
The lookout, yeah.
Think of it like the size, so it's expansive. You guys have plenty of room to walk around, and then towards the center is something size similar to like an airport hangar, and made up of this pure mixture of both steel and fixtures of gold. And there is a couple stairs as you head up between the lined area of these immaculate bushes and stuff heading through towards the front. A couple stairs that descend, and as you guys begin to head towards the front doors, you notice, Alloy and you, Modifier, that there are these two high-rise doors that raise up like 20 feet up into the air. And think of like a gatekeep where the doors just open from the center out, except there's no handle on these. It is just two solid blocks of steel. And then you notice, Alloy, over to the right side, as you've seen before when we've done maintenance on other similar bank vault doors, that there is a arcane panel over to the right that is outset from the wall here nearby. And it has a couple different cogs, and you can hear the sound of whirring and stuff coming from within. And there is a glass panel on the front that typically would be set for someone to scan their card. And in this instance, you're not exactly sure what's off, but let me see. What are your guys' passive perceptions?
12.
14. So both of you guys, with both of those passive perceptions, can also notice as you're just looking at the panel, Alloy and Modifier kind of looking around, none of the other area around here on the outside of the platform here, as you guys are heading off of the Spelljammer, it similarly takes off and shuttles away, and you can always flag it down when you need to again, because they're traveling through the air up here. So as it takes off, you guys are just kind of left by yourselves up here on this platform. It doesn't seem like there's anyone else. It doesn't look like there's any outside damage around the structure of the vault itself. As you look around, though, you do notice with your passive perceptions that it looks like the two steel doors, one of them, because they open up into the inside, that one of the doors seems to be almost pushed a little in to the bank vault. And there's just... You can't see anything inside without walking up to it, but you can see just a little crease of an open space that appears to lead into the vault where there's darkness.
Okay.
So, what do you do?
Well,
There's no one outside.
Nope.
Yeah, who's there with us exactly?
You
Nobody
see
or just us?
no one.
Okay.
Without making any checks, you don't see anyone else. You hear the sound of the spelljammer, the creaking wood as it takes off, and you know it will probably wrap back around here in another 30 minutes or so just to make sure and check on you guys. But otherwise, it seems as though it's just you two.
They didn't give us any instructions or key card or anything, you said?
No key card. But you could imagine, under the guidance of the Bullionaire Bastion, that Alloy, if you needed to, you could potentially work the nearby panel here to access the bank vault. However, as you guys have already been able to perceive, it does look like the two doors are already open here. So,
Can I look
Why?
at the panel and see if anything's been done to it?
sure.
Anything?
Yeah.
Do you need a check?
Yeah, give me either an investigation or an arcana check, because both of those would work. Investigation is not what you see, but how something is, how it works, how it was created. Arcana would also check the magical nature of it too, so either of those will work.
They're both the same for me, so I'll just make an arcana. Oh, there we go.
With a 12 Arcana Alloy, you go to check the panel, and it appears as though, as you're taking a look at it, making our Arcana check, that the panel here seems to be malfunctioning a little bit. And as you use one of the tools from your tool belt, you kind of pop it out and use like a screw to wedge it in there to open the panel itself, to see the inner workings of it, the gears and everything else, to take a closer look, to see exactly why it doesn't appear to be functioning correctly. There's usually a ring around the device of the glass portion, this steel, this squarish glass. There's like a ring around it that usually glows with a soft gold to let you know that it's working correctly. The magic is flowing through it, but you don't see that. So as you crack it open, you do notice on the edges of the device, there appear to be what look like either scratch marks or bite marks that seem to have appeared here.
Okay.
And as you pop open the interior, you notice that some of the inside gears and stuff seem to have been damaged by something that looks as though it was raking either its claws or maybe even fangs across the gear workings here that may have damaged it from the outside.
Do we hear any noises from inside now?
Make a perception check.
Sure. You guys can, if you want, put your ears up to the open crease of the door to hear inside.
I'll go ahead and make one.
This doesn't seem normal.
Alloy, you put your ear up, kind of poking an eye to see in, and it's difficult to see. It looks pretty dark inside. You guys would know, just because your history is working here, that there is no fancy, like, you know, it's not super high tech because this is D&D. There are a number of candelabras inside that are evenly spaced out if you guys needed to light them inside. That's typically how that happens. But, you know, since no one's been in here for a while, they're obviously not lit. You can kind of see barely enough. Using your dark vision, your eyes kind of adjust a second because of the bright nature of Halcyon as you kind of look between this crack. And you can just barely see, as the light pours in from outside, you can see the dust kind of glowing in the light. And you can see a set of stairs that seems to descend at an angle a little bit in. In terms of what you hear, you don't hear anything, Alloy, as you put your ear up. Monifa, you sort of hover your head over Alloy's and similarly flick up one of your black ears and put it up to the crease. You hear the sound of what sounds like scratching on the floor further in the distance. It's very subtle, but you do hear some type of sound like the scratching on gold or pavement.
So Monifa hears that. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would. It sounds like there's something inside. Something scratching on the floor.
I think we should go ahead and go in.
Let's be quiet about it, though. Go ahead and. How was your stealth?
My stealth. I mean, my dexterity is 14. My stealth is +5, so
+5.
it's not bad.
I was just because I could cast something, but I think we're good for right now. Yeah, just roll a stealth and I guess go in.
You guys both trying to be stealthy? Give me a stealth check as you try to push open the door as quietly as possible and
This is what I'm good
head
at.
inside.
Now, here's the question: is Woofy with us? Woofy's with us, right?
Yeah, so Kevin, and I'll switch maps so you can see the token too. There is a what was the dog we were just talking about, Amanda?
It's like a Saint Bernard.
Saint Bernard, yeah. There's
Robo
like
dog.
a construct version of a Saint Bernard that is pretty sizable, like close to your guy's size, medium, just on all fours. That is a mixture of both steel and gold metal plating that follows your daughter around. Nothing that would be out of place for your daughter. She's always tinkering and making fun things, so this would be normally seeing a dog for you guys may be a little unsettling, but you know this one is just a familiar.
It's just Woofy.
Yeah.
Hey,
The brain of my girl.
I have my notebook with like. Let me go get my notebook real quick.
The brain of my daughter. She's such a smart girl.
Let me see. Did you guys both roll stealth check?
Yeah, I wrote a crit.
A natty 20, nice. We're not doing cards or anything here, but that's
Yeah,
a great roll. You, both of you, very stealthily. Monifa, you using your deftness of your skills and working with the Bullionaire Bastion, just slide the door slowly open. There's generally a large sound of material on material sliding across as the doors typically open. And it is a little bit heavy to do manually in terms of trying to open the doors versus usually using the key card to let the arcane nature of the doors just open automated by themselves. But you guys are able to not only open the doors, but you're also able to do it with quite a bit of stealth. And you notice a set of stairs that run down one flight and then one more. And it is very dark in here.
Here's the thing, though. I think if we're rolling stealth, I think I need to roll stealth for Woofy too.
Okay, sure.
So he's got +1. So I think it's just
Roll 20. Yeah.
yeah, just
So
like
9.
that.
Oh, 8. Yeah.
He's got 8. Yeah.
So Woofy making a little bit more noise than the rest of you guys as you hear the clank of his big fat steel paws. But Monifa, with her natural 20, is largely able to kind of show you how to sneak in quietly, Alloy, and kind of even throws up a finger at Woofy as you guys descend some of these steps, and he stops for a second and kind of more slowly walks. And so now you guys, I move the map. You guys, this is a map, Amanda, with dynamic lighting.
Okay.
Meaning that your sight is unique to you. So if you were to like go down a hallway and turn a corner, Kevin's token could no longer see you. It would just be like in real life. So your vision here is whatever you can see. You see a set of steps that lead down, and then of course, like I said, just kind of turn at a 90-degree angle. You see what looks to be two separate hallways, one that leads north and then one that kind of continues straight forward out from where you guys are looking here. And you can also see at the base of these steps what looks like a unlit candelabra here with very tall wax candles set inside of it.
And this is taking into account our dark vision, right? Because
yes, normally you would not be able to see anything, but you
it would be like up to like what here.
Yeah,
we could see 5 feet.
you'd be able to maybe kind of see your hand in front of your face if you held it out a few inches away. But you guys
we all have dark vision, even Woofy.
You guys are both tabaxi, so you guys can see. This place is usually covered in a goldish hue, but with your night vision, you guys kind of see with a bit of tint of blue. So yeah, normally most people would just be fumbling around in the dark, tripping over themselves, but you guys are particularly adept moving around in here.
Okay.
So what do you do?
So which direction is the scratching? Is it more like directly in front of us or more like up to the north on the map or south?
It's difficult to tell even with your check from the area that was. So up the stairs is basically where the double doors are, the vault opening. You know it sounded like it was coming from relatively deep within this vault, but you don't know the exact direction it would be coming from.
Okay.
So I've given you guys your HP. If you want to edit your tokens in any other way, you're more than welcome to, and you can move them around. Kyle, the way he did our game last night is he did out of combat initiative order. I usually don't do that as long as you guys just let me know what you plan on doing. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not going to do initiative. You just tell me what you do, and we'll go from there.
Is this something here? What is this?
Yeah, that's a candelabra there.
Okay. That's what I thought. All right.
Well,
and this is like the bottom of the stairs, right? We're at the top?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's like 5 feet down to here, and then another 5 feet down here.
And so, hold on. This area where we are,
is it just the one client's vault or the multiple vaults in here? Do we know?
This is very wealthy. Both clients as well as Bullionaire Bastion members have their very own bank vault platforms. Some of them do share sometimes, but you know this one specifically because you had been given the details for this particular job. This is a very wealthy eidolon. All of the interior space in here, even the individual rooms that may make up some of the place inside here, is all under his ownership. So just his vault, no matter how large it is.
Well, since we don't see anything, I suppose we should head towards the vault. If someone's here, I would think that's where they would go also.
You want to let Woofy go first?
I might head a little bit further ahead. I feel I'm a bit more quiet than Woofy at this point.
True.
But
That's true.
I'll keep you in eyesight.
So we moving? Yeah.
Monifa and Alloy, you guys begin to shift down the steps.
Here.
And so,
hear the soft pitter patter of Woofy behind you heading down the steps.
And you said the main vault would be up north of us, right?
I meant to say just the vault doors that enter into this area were up the steps. You're actually not exactly sure of the full layout of this particular
I wasn't
vault
sure
here.
if they gave us any more info.
From here, I think you guys can both see up to the north what looks like a formal marble desk, likely where there is some paperwork and stuff like that, as well as a seat. You guys usually would get the idea that this is where transaction records are sometimes kept, stuff like that. You take a further step inside and can see a candelabra at the far end of this squarish room and see that it does turn and head towards the east.
I'm gonna go ahead and make another perception check just to hear ahead down the hall.
Sure.
9.
I'll make one too.
Okay.
Sure. 14.
In reverse of last time, Monifa, you twitch an ear up don't hear much of anything. Alloy, you throw up an ear yourself and listen for a second. It's quiet and you're about to stop listening, but then you hear somewhere in the distance the faint sound of what sounds like a coin or two hitting the floor.
And Wolfie's has a +6 perception, so should I go
Oh.
ahead and make one for him too?
Sure,
You
sure.
could.
Oh,
Oh.
there we go. Disappointing.
You turn around and he perks his metallic ears up and looks back and forth, but then just looks back at you.
I'm gonna go and just check out this desk over here.
Sure.
See if anything's been tampered with. Do you want me to make like an investigation or something?
Investigation or perception, either one will work.
I'll do investigation.
And I'm assuming you told me about what you heard, right?
Oh yeah. I hear something. What did I hear?
Sounded like the clink of two coins and then maybe the sound of one rolling just a little bit before it falls flat.
Yeah, I hear something up there.
Someone's definitely here.
Coins.
It sounds like, at least.
Do I see anything with this desk?
You peer around the desk, Alloy. You can see that on the far side where the chair is, that there is a number of drawers on each far end. None of them look particularly tampered with that you can see. And you check the chair and kind of just running a gloved finger across the surface, see that it's built up just a little bit of dust, but with your investigation check gives you the idea that it doesn't look like anyone's been around here, at least recently. So if someone's broken in here, they at least haven't, it doesn't seem as though they've tampered with a desk or chair.
Okay. We're gonna keep going.
Slowly.
Modifier kind of sneaks forward.
Me and Wolfie are gonna hang back just a tiny bit.
At this distance, Modifier, up ahead you can see a lavish, nice-looking rug. Usually people throw some stuff in here. They usually bring the clients usually bring other customers and people inside. Sometimes they do business deals within their own vault, so they usually have a little bit of interior furniture here. So there are a couple candelabras, one at the north here above this rug. You can actually see what looks like two doors of one of the individual vault-like areas that was pointed out to you guys in the note. And Alloy, you remember this was one of the things that was mentioned in the note in terms of them making you, they didn't want you to go inside of any of these. They just wanted to make sure and check that the individual rooms that held their wealth was properly locked and trapped with magic.
Okay. Jason, also, just in case this is relevant, my whip makes it so myself and anyone of my companions within 30 feet of me cannot be surprised.
Okay.
So just remember that.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Just in case. I don't know if that'll be. Yeah.
All right. Continue moving. See anything?
You
What?
begin to see a little beyond the corner here, Monifa, and you can see it looks like some of the pillars of the structure here that serve in the center of this area here that leads down into another hallway down below you. It looks as though chunks of the sides of it have been broken off. Like just huge pieces of the gold itself seems to have been just torn from the sides. You also from here are able to see in midst of the rubble, it looks like a chest that is made out of largely wood, but of course has some accents of gold on it.
Something tells me that shouldn't just be sitting there like that.
No.
Something has been here.
What are these, Jason? Right here.
These are the individual doors that the client Porphyry specifically wanted you to check and just make sure they are properly shut.
If you want to check those real fast, I'll keep look here.
I'll go check these.
I'm not much help when it comes to magical traps.
Yeah, you can make an investigation, you can make an arcana, you can make like a tinker check if you wanted to.
17 investigation.
With a 17, you just take a second and just study the door. You kind of grab through your tool set and maybe like pop one of the nearby panels off to just make sure everything is in working order. And luckily, it looks as though this door right here, everything is set, ready to go. If anyone was to try and tamper with this door without having some large means to disable the security, they would get a hearty arcane jolt from the handles, stopping them from trying to open it.
So everything looks good there.
Everything looks good. Yep, these are properly locked.
I'm Mom, if you're okay there, I'm gonna go check this other door. I'm gonna send Woofy ahead though.
Okay. Woofy kind of trots across the rug over to the other side.
Follow him if all looks okay.
He raises his snout and kind of, similar to a dog, a facsimile of a dog-like manner, kind of sniffs around and looks back to you. You see another door to the north and to the east, similar to the one you just checked previously.
Do you want me to roll again?
Sure. I'll let you roll just one roll for both of these doors if you want.
12.
It takes you a little bit more time. It takes you probably like a solid 2 minutes to check these two, but you're able to finish it up. And these two, similar to the last one, are properly shut. If someone was breaking in here, so far they certainly didn't try to open any of these. Monifa, in that time frame, as Alloy's doing this, you kind of take a look back, swivel your head, see her working with a couple, like an open tool belt, tinkering around. You peer back down and you can hear scratching again, coming from what sounds like south of you.
That in mind.
Does Monifa hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume you tell me.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to come up once you were done with those doors. Seems like something's down south here. Be extra on guard. Well, I mean, I guess we already knew.
Are you sure you don't want Woofy to go first?
No. This is my expertise. You know no one will catch me, honey, unless I want them to.
You can see up ahead, just out of the corner of your eye, Monifa, what looks like the edge of another chest that is almost looks like it's been knocked out of the wall.
What are these doing out here?
More gold rubble. Pieces of the gold that makes up the pillars here in the center is just knocked over. You checking this door, Alloy?
Seem right. Yeah, I'll just give you one more investigation here. 18.
You quickly check this one. Everything seems okay.
Okay. Well, all the doors seem fine.
Something, I guess. I suppose.
More candelabras on the way. You can also see from this distance, it seems as though there is a symmetry to the two hallways leading south, where there is on one side these doors, Alloy, and there's likely the same set of doors on the other side.
Yeah, I see all 4 sets from here. Oh no, that's 5 sets I can see. It's probably 6. Okay.
Alloy, as you step up to here, you're able to see in the distance what looks like a just mound of a mixture of coins, gold, maybe silver pieces down below you, directly underneath this pillar.
Here?
Yeah. It also looks like you see 2 furry shapes shifting in the pile of gold. Their fur, what looks like something similar to a blondish, maybe even goldish hue that runs through them. You can't see their faces yet. It just looks like 2 bald, maybe even small-sized balls of fur that are shifting around in the gold occasionally. You can now hear, both you, Alloy, and Monifa, the sound of coins being pushed, when they're stacked on top of one another.
Mom, I think there's something around that pillar.
Oh, yeah, I see it now too. We'd make a Let me think. Maybe I guess would just history make sense to know what that is?
Sure.
Or
History, nature. I'll take a
nature?
number of checks. Yeah.
History.
They're both equally bad for me. So
If you're, I'll say if you.
+5 in both. So
Oh,
19
nice.
in history I got.
Ooh. Have you ever seen this before? That thing?
As a matter of fact, you're no stranger to these things. Either of you guys, as you mentioned this alloy to Monifa. These are Aurum Vorax. Aurum Vorax take the shape of here. Let me see here. Aurum Vorax. They are small in size. They're typically known by their nickname, the Golden Gorgers, but they're basically shaggy, hole-dwelling creatures that look similar to either like a cat-like creature, but usually a little bit larger than your typical house cat. They have 8 legs instead of 4, and they eat gold.
So they're like vault rats.
Yes, they are. You guys have, maybe you haven't seen them in person before, but you certainly heard about them before, especially here on Halcyon, because they are a pest on Halcyon. Halcyon was extremely rigid in their importation of creatures that are brought here, specifically because of these critters, because at some point in the past, someone, as a fun entertainment piece, decided to bring Aurum Vorax over, and it's one of those things where they're not a native creature because this is an artificial planet, but they just happen to get free. So they are the unnatural pest of this area. And from the looks of it, along with that check, I'll just say that it looks like they are either sleeping or they do not notice you, Alloy.
Mom, I think it's some of those vault vermin.
Ah, those such pests. Ruining all of our beautiful gold.
You would also know that history check, because it's so high, Alloy, that they are pretty territorial, so they may not be the kindest creatures if disturbed.
There's another one over here. Feel.
Well, I guess we should get rid of them. That's what we were hired for.
Yeah, they shouldn't be in here.
How you want to go about this? You want to try to sneak up on them?
Yeah, we'll sneak up on them. I will probably head this way. We can sort of surround them. If you want to stay there, and I'll come down this way. Come up around them. Do you need to roll stealth again?
At this point, if you're trying to sneak in closer to these two, I'm gonna ask for another stealth check.
In that case, hold on a second. Let's see what the distance on this. Oh, never mind.
What does this mean? 23.
Do you have advantage rolling stealth for any reason? Because that's what it looks like. It's rolling with advantage.
I should have disadvantage.
Oh, so then you got 9. You have disadvantage on stealth?
Yeah, I'm wearing scale now, I think.
Oh, okay.
Well, then that's probably what it's doing, is it's rolling both, so you can take the lower one.
Hold on a second.
That makes sense then. Well, I rolled crappily, but let's see what Woofy rolls. Got +1. So this is for Woofy. Woofy got 20.
Woofy's actually being pretty quiet. But you hear
he sees the things now, and he's kind of like, like any other dog, he's kind of like
his
trained on him a little bit.
The back plates on his body stand up.
Can I hold an action, Jason?
Sure.
So I still want to try to sneak up on them. If you want to try, that is fine. But I want to hold an action that if they notice us before I get close enough, I want to drop a glow of darkness on them.
Okay.
Which I'm skinning as it's a little darkness grenade that Ally created for me.
Well, nice. I'm going to have Wolfie just move up just like one closer, and then I'm going to be like, I'm just going to try to whisper to her, like, Mom, I'm just going to stay here.
Okay. Keep an eye.
See what you do.
as you begin to sneak in a little closer, Monifa, everything sounds good, and then Alloy, as you're trying to sneak just a bit closer, one of your wrenches slips out of your tool belt and clangs against the ground. And Monifa, you're able to see the one closer to Alloy and Woofy on that side begins to stir, shifting through the coinage.
I drop a globe of darkness around them. It's a 15-foot radius sphere of magical darkness. Just started centering from like in between them.
Okay. Let me go ahead then and start the initiative. Take out all these characters. We're not using them anymore. Let's add this pupper.
Yeah. And he shares my initiative. He goes right after me.
Sweet. All right. So if you guys want to punch in your initiative, Munifa, go ahead and just like punch yours at like 99 since you're using your ready to action. I'll be going first.
So let's see. So what would it be like this? That square? Would that be it? Except a sphere?
Yeah, hang on. I may actually have
That
something
look
for
right?
that. Hang
Okay.
on.
It's a 15-foot radius sphere.
Let's do dark. Gonna go
Plus
premium assets.
2 key points.
And then, man, if you want to punch in your initiative for Alloy and Woofy, I guess Woofy just goes right after you, so you can add the same initiative for him. And then, hang on just a second, Kevin.
Oh yeah, you're good.
You said 15 foot radius?
15-foot radius, yeah.
Oh boy, 15, 5, 10, 15. So I'm going to get rid of your, I'm going to get rid of this here, but I'm going to replace it with this here. So what's it look like when you throw this out?
So, like I said, I'm skinning this to explain it that it's like a darkness grenade, some sort of, I don't know how it works. Alloy made it for me. But I throw it and it creates that globe of darkness when it goes off.
All right. You toss this cool looking grenade crafted by Alloy, and as it lands over here, it makes a clinking, popping noise. And expanding out instead of an explosion or smoke is this fast expanding globe of darkness that envelopes both of the two armed Vorax within the circle. They are covered in it, but similarly, because it's a magical darkness, you guys cannot see in either.
Yeah. That's fine though. That helps us get ready. They can't get out without running into us.
And then I'm just going to do some public rolls here, so hang on just a second. Yeah, you can keep moving though.
I think I'll stay here. Actually, no. I'll be here. Stack is...
Actually, I'm gonna put Wolfie like one block closer to the darkness thing.
Okay.
I can attack this whole area from... Actually, what? So that was 10, 15. Yeah.
You see the shifting, almost like oil on water, of the coalescing, dark, whipping colors of the darkness orb from the exploded grenade up ahead, Munifa. This does look to be the end of the hallway here down at this section.
Is it still my turn technically?
Technically it is, unless you want to do anything else.
Okay, and then let me see. I just want to see that thing I did. What's that concept?
So those things can't see out of that, but we also can't see in, right?
Correct.
As far as you know, they don't see out of it. And then similarly, you guys can't see inside. Because unlike normal darkness, this is a magical darkness. So unless you have special senses for that, it's like an extra layer of darkness.
Okay.
That's why the Aurum Borax kind of disappeared within it, because you wouldn't be able to see them. Anything else you want to do, Monifa?
Trying to see. Shadow arts is, what is that considered? Is that a
Shadow
as an
Jutsu?
action? Okay, it's an action. I just wanted to see if that was an. I didn't know if that was an action or a bonus action.
Is Monifa
In that
wearing
case-
a Naruto headband?
What's that?
Is Monifa wearing a Naruto headband?
Shadow. Bushin. No. And then I think I'm going to be done.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have cunning action. I will. Actually, no, that doesn't help me here. I'm done. Yep.
Okay. You toss that darkness grenade up ahead and cover the two creatures in darkness. Alloy, you are up. Now keep in mind, both you and Woofy, at least currently, cannot see the creatures inside. So you would not be able to attack them if that's what you're looking to do. However, in D&D, similar to what Monifa did, you can always hold an action. So you can tell me what you want to do with your action, whether it's I want to use this spell, I want to attack with my crossbow, and then you tell me what the trigger is when one of these creatures pops out from this thing. And as soon as that happens, when that trigger happens, your action will go off for you.
Quick question.
If you want to.
The dodge action do? So if I take, or more accurately, if Wolfie takes the dodge action, what does that do?
He's going to be on his guard, and he's using his whole action to become very swift, so that if any enemies try to run up and hit him, they'll have disadvantage on their attack rolls.
Okay,
He's like quickly juking out of the way.
Okay, I'm just gonna like ready my crossbow. That doesn't take anything. Trying to think if there's anything I want to cast.
Yeah, take your time, because I know these are not only your new characters, but also level 8, so you guys have plenty of options. So this is an introductory thing, so if you need a second to look over any of your spells or anything, take your time. And I'll try and answer whatever questions I can.
I need a second.
Yeah, I was looking at your character sheet. It's trying to start D&D out with an artificer. There's a lot going on, so.
Got Wolfie too. Thankfully,
Yeah.
he doesn't have that much he can do, but it's still. And I have to use a bonus action to make him do anything other than dodge.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, hold on. What about fairy fire?
What does Fairy Fire do?
I just put it in Roll20. It outlines creatures or it says objects, and it's
You have to be able to see the creature, though.
You do.
Yeah. I would think.
Hold on.
Even outside the box.
Each object in a 20-foot cube within range.
Oh.
So she doesn't have to target a creature, she just targets an area.
Okay. So
Any
actually, no,
creature
that's-
in the area when the spell is cast is outlined in light. If it fails a dexterity save, what a combo you two immediately
That's
already
perfect.
have.
Yeah.
We enshroud them in darkness, and then I highlight them.
Yeah. So
Meaning-
we can see them, but they can't see us.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Can I have
Yeah.
them?
That's awesome.
So
Okay.
I'm assuming you're just going to try and probably, like pick the
Yeah,
epicenter.
right in the center.
Okay, so that's going to be 20 feet. So let me see. Any creature in the area when the spell is cast is outlined in light if they fail their dex save. Can you let me know from your character sheet what that DC is that these creatures need to beat for that spell?
How would I know that?
Let me go over to your character sheet so I can pop it open here myself. So we're going to
Yeah, I
go...
was gonna do the same thing.
We're going to go over to spells, and then we're going to scroll down to your Fairy Fire. If you just click Fairy Fire, you don't even...
It's dex 17.
Yeah, I was going to say, you if you click any of these, it'll give you like the full lowdown, but also it usually should have that right there. So dex 17, so I'm making all public rolls. Usually in these games, if you've seen any of these made, I usually hide my rolls, but this isn't terribly serious, so
Okay.
I'm just gonna make public rolls for both of these things, and they eat gold, so they are big, they are fat.
Ooh,
However,
Oh. Cool.
One of them, as you cast this, what's your fairy fire look like, Amanda?
What color?
Oh jeez, you're making me like skin it.
It's blue, green, or violet.
Yeah. Let's just do like a blue. Something.
A
And
cast.
I throw something out. Maybe a little flying thing, just
Yeah.
a tiny little flying thing that
Like
It-
scans him. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it whips over the shroud of darkness and kind of explodes in a pulse of what looks like electric energy, these sparks that kind of rain down almost like fireworks. As they begin to shift into the darkness, you can actually see the sparks still even as they enter the darkened area. You see one side, they seem to dissipate, but in the other side, you watch the sparks begin to stop a little bit above the ground, and as they collectively build up, you can now see the faint outline of one of the creatures over on Munifa's side who failed their check. So you guys will be able to see this one. It's basically, just imagine like an outline of some glittering blue sparks to let you know where its location is. The other one, though, unfortunately doesn't look like it got outlined, but you got one of them at least.
That's fine. Yeah.
cool.
Also, creatures covered in fairy fire, any attack roll against them has advantage if the attacker can see it.
Nice.
No one can stop us when we work together, daughter.
So
I knew we had this like combination going.
It's
I
faded.
appreciate it. So I have a bonus action left.
bonus action, you have your move action, and then you have
Yeah,
whatever
okay.
Woofy wants to do.
Well, I'm not gonna move because, yeah, I'm way in range for my crossbow. So I'm not gonna move. I have Sanctuary that I'm thinking of. Yeah, I'll put it in there. That I'm thinking of casting on Woofy.
Okay. It's one bonus
So-
action. You ward a creature with range against attack till the spell ends, so this is something you're concentrating on. Hang on just a second. Let me scroll up.
How does concentration end?
So
You take damage, you have to roll.
yeah, let
okay.
me just take a look here. The duration. Okay, so hang on. This isn't concentration. Your fairy fire is. So right now, imagine Alloy. You kind of like have a hand up, and or a transmitter in your hand, however you want to flavor
I
it.
have a little, I
Yeah.
have a little remote in
Yeah.
my hand for my
And so if you get hit, you have to just make sure that you can maintain that. Sanctuary, though, if
It's
you
not-
notice under the duration, it doesn't say concentration.
1 minute.
It's just 1
Yeah.
minute. So they got to make a whiz save whenever they try to attack. On a failed save, the creature has to choose a new target, or they cannot attack that creature. So that would
Yeah,
be
I'm
pretty
just-
cool.
I'm gonna go ahead and just throw that on Woofy.
All right. You quickly pull out a device, and with a couple clicks, you watch as Woofy's form kind of glows with a sort of
Like a personal force field.
yeah, like a transparent force field a couple inches
Yeah.
from above its body that shimmers.
Yeah.
Anything you want Woofy specifically to do?
No, because I have to use my bonus action for it, and I already used it. So the only thing he can do on his turn is dodge.
Okay, he can move too if you want him to, right?
He could probably move.
I think the way I read it,
Let me go see.
it doesn't really say. I just read it because I just thought about that. Sorry, it's kind of long in Roll20 because it's got its little character sheet.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go see. Class features, you have you have Steel Defender.
It shares her initiative.
Yeah.
Takes its turn immediately after yours. It can move and use its reaction on its own.
Oh, okay. So,
So
yeah,
you can
it
still move him.
So I guess it's his turn now. He's just gonna move right down here.
Okay.
Just get, a little bit more breading. And that's it. How do
So-
reactions work?
Usually it's in reaction to something happening. You
Yeah,
can,
so-
like if you take damage, if a creature targets you, it depends on what it is.
What's the thing you're thinking of that has the reaction?
Well, his reaction is Deflect Attack. The defender imposes disadvantage on the attack roll of one creature it can see that is within 5 feet of it, provided the attack roll is against a creature other than the defender. Okay, yeah.
On the attack roll, one creature you see that is within 5 feet of it, provided the attack roll is against a creature other than the defender. So if he was close to you, for example, you know, within
somebody was trying to attack me,
yeah,
he could like put himself
similar to like a bonus action or anything else, you get 1 attack action per round. So one of those attacks coming at you, he could use his immediate reaction to try and deflect the attack. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
So Woofy, you hear on the other side, Modifier, you can't see him, but you hear the clanging of Woofy as he probably steps up, likely to defend your daughter, kind of just interposing himself in the way. Anything else? Both Alloy and Woofy?
That's it for us, I think.
All right. You... this thing is gonna quickly run out of the darkness. You hear the scraping of its claws. You see the 6 feet. Looks almost like a shambling, shaggy golden carpet as it skitters around. It turns as it pulls itself out of the darkness on your side, Aloe, and you can see it immediately notices your large steel Saint Bernard and hisses and tries to strike at it. So let me see here. I'm going to go over to the stat page. Let's take a look here.
So he's going to use dodge, so that
Yeah.
is going to be a disadvantage, right?
Right,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
And even if it does hit, then it has to get through your ward,
Oh, yeah.
your sanctuary.
It is going to
So
try...
it's disadvantage, and even if it does hit, it's still got to get through your sanctuary.
Yeah.
It's
Dang.
awesome. It's super defending.
It's going to try and bite Woofy, but it has disadvantage. So does a 15 hit its AC?
It does. Unfortunately, his AC is exactly 15.
Oh, man. And what's Sanctuary do again?
Sanctuary, he has to make a wisdom saving throw.
Yep.
And on a failed save?
It must choose a new target or lose the attack.
All right.
Yeah.
So it rolls a 13. What's your DC for that? 17? Is that what it was?
17. Yeah.
You watch as it just callously throws its open jaws towards Woofy and tries to bite. But you notice that its maw catches on the transparent shielding of your steel defender and is kind of thrown back, and kind of its jaws snap over to the right side. It's not able to bite it.
Nice.
Let me see here. Let me actually take a look at these things. Yeah, it's got to bite him to do anything else. Nice. Let's see here. Okay.
Wolfie, you hear him growl, but it's really just like cogs and stuff just moving.
Roar. Monifa,
Yes. Bark.
you know yourself, you were told not to take anything that was in here out in terms of the valuables, but you also are very aware that because of the diet of the Armvorax, they are valuable creatures if their pelts are claimed and sold.
That'd be useful.
So that one ends its turn. It kind of runs up and attempts to bite at Woofy, but because Woofy is behind 700 proxies, it's not able to do anything. This other one is now going to run your way. It pops out of the darkness, kind of shaking its head as the misty darkness wisps out of its way. And shaking its head, it sees you, Monifa, and begins to run with its instinctual nature to protect its territory, and attempts to try and make a bite attack at you.
On you ugly beast.
18 hits your AC.
Oh yeah, all day, every day.
It makes a bite attack against you. Let's take a look here. So you take 4 points of piercing damage as it bites into you. And as it bites into one of your arms, Monifa, you notice that it grips your arm with its mouth. And then you realize, as it kind of launched up to grab at your, kind of bite at your arm, you now feel as its 4 feet begins to fall back down to the surface that probably because of its diet, it is extremely heavy. And you feel yourself being pulled down with your arm in its mouth down to the ground. You are grappled and prone.
Oh.
You also notice from down here that the Aramvorax launches its claws your way now that it's bit. So let's see. These may not necessarily hit you, but here they come nonetheless. Let me just take a look at what they do here. Okay. So here they come. There is a few of them coming your way because of the multiple appendages of this creature. So first, usually in our game, I usually mark stuff. So we're just going to say, let me find here. You fell onto the ground. And where's like a fist or something? And you're grappled. Or no, you fell. I like that icon more. You tripped and fell. There we go. And you're grappled. Okay, one claw comes your way, Monifa. Does a 14 hit AC?
I'm prone, so does it have advantage, unfortunately?
It doesn't have advantage.
Okay, good.
It just has you
14
grappled.
matches, unfortunately.
Okay. Let's see. It scrapes across you for 6 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Here comes the next one. 20 is going to hit. That is 6 points of slashing damage. Here's the third one. 11 probably misses.
Yes.
Okay, one of the claws goes wide. You hear it scraping across the gold floor. The fourth claw similarly strikes a little too far out, and its kind of fervent nature being thrown off from the darkness behind it. 21 is unfortunately going to hit, so another 7 points of damage, and its final claw comes at you and misses.
So, how many points of damage is that total?
Let's take a look here. So there was 6, 12,
23, I think it was.
Alloy, you hear the sound of a lot of scraping and tussling happening over on Monifa's side.
Shit. Okay.
As it ends its turn, Alloy, up here, you hear the sound of rustling, and as you turn around and take a look at this sort of like column, this gold pillar here in the center, you see a couple pieces of the golden brick that makes up its nature kind of just fall to the ground. You can actually see a little bit of a crevice in the center of this piece here.
Uh-oh.
And with that, it rolls back up. Monifa, it is your turn.
So, how does grapple work in 5e?
You need to either make, I believe, an acrobatics or athletics check using your action to escape a grapple. So I'll double check that right now. And this will be good so Amanda knows too. Targeted grapple must be no more than one size larger than you, which you are just one size above. And then they need to make an athletics check or an acrobatics check.
Okay, cool.
I'm assuming you are probably, because of your stat build, would go more acrobatics to try and slink out of its
It's like
hold.
it's like MMA, someone on the ground just getting out of that grapple. Yeah, I rolled a 24 acrobatics.
All right, it's going to attempt to just use the bulk of its weight to keep you held down. So it's just going to use a strength check. Hang on just a second. Just want to double check its strength score. Okay. Oh yeah, you're able to, like, it's just trying to like flat press you onto the ground, but you're able to kick one of your deft legs out and just kind of using your acrobatics. I mean, you work for espionage. You're no stranger to moving around swiftly. You just kind of quickly get a little bit of a wedge into one of its sides and quickly roll out, escaping its grapple. You are still prone as you kind of kick your feet back, pushing your back across the floor a little bit out of its hold. But otherwise, you're not caught in its grapple anymore.
And it takes half my speed to get up?
Half of your speed to step back up.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so I'll get up.
Okay, so it's just half the speed. You still have all of that left, though, and then have you use your action to escape its grapple. So if you have any other free actions, bonus actions.
So I move 5. 10, I will use my bonus action of cunning action to use disengage.
Mm-hmm.
So 10, 15, 20.
Normally, disengage is an action, Amanda, that you can use on your turn so that when you leave the threat range of an enemy, they don't get to make a reaction to attack you. She's also a rogue, though. Is it rogue and monks that get that? Probably both,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Both.
mainly rogue.
Yeah, her classes give her the ability to use it as a bonus action because she's so adept in just sneaking away from stuff. So it throws a claw your way, Munifa, but you just quickly twirl, and its claw goes wide and misses you as you step into the darkness.
Then just to make sure, just to give myself some distance, I'm going to, let's see. It's just an other. It's not. Oh, everything went dark, Jason.
Yeah.
On the stream.
You're in the darkness, so you can't see anything.
I still see that one.
You can still see that one. Yeah.
Wait, which one of the ones is highlighted?
The one on the other side of the globe.
Here, I'm gonna put
I
a
can't
little.
actually see him, Jason. Just so you know.
I'm gonna put a little marker on him. I'll ping him if you need to. I just want to make it dark for you.
And so
otherwise.
then, I will use my feline agility. That it just lets me move up to double my speed on my turn.
Damn.
For free, and just move another. I'm trying to remember where I was. Another 5. I think that should put me in about the center, so I'm gonna stay there.
Okay.
And yeah, that's my turn.
All right. Alloy, both you and Woofy, this one on the other side, it's the one covered in your fairy fire, so it is able to be seen even through this globe of darkness. Although you can't see your mom. Speaking of, you're up.
Okay.
You and Woofy.
All right. I'm gonna move up just a couple. Like right there, just so I can.
You can now see, you can see the sparks glinting from around the corner where likely the other one is.
Okay.
And you definitely see this one up ahead, just kind of thrashing around at your dog.
Let me think about this. Okay. And I can't see Monifa.
You cannot. Nope.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for a hit.
Okay.
So I'm going to fire my crossbow at this one next to Wolfie.
Sure.
So there we go. Does 11 hit?
11 unfortunately does not hit this thing. Your crossbow bolt actually connects, but you watch as it almost just bounces off of this thing and it's thick pelt.
Okay. Well then for my bonus, I'm gonna have Wolfie attack.
All right.
So he's got Force Empowered Rend. It's a melee attack. Basically does 1d8 plus my proficiency bonus, which is 3. So, and to hit, what would that be to hit?
I'm pretty sure if you go to your character page, I'm pretty sure.
Force Empowered.
Let me go back to D&D
See any
Beyond.
bonus on it? I don't see a bonus to hit on it.
Let me go to, hang on, let me go to campaigns. I'm going to go to your character sheet real quick here. And I think under attacks, you actually should have, let me see, or actions maybe. There should be some stuff for Woofy here.
I'm looking at his little thing right here.
Features and traits, class features, which should be Steel Defender. So if you go under your features and traits
Oh, it's a +4 to attack. Yeah.
and your class features, click on your Steel Defender, and it should have its whole stat card here.
Yeah, I have a stat card.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a +4 to attack, so you D20 +4.
Where are you seeing that though?
On Sir Cogwheel's little thing, you scroll down to his actions, and where it says Force Empowered Rend, it shows melee weapon attack +4 to hit, reach 5 feet, one target you can see, hit is 1d8 +2.
Oh, I'm seeing. So the problem I ran into is that his little thing in extras.
Yeah.
Isn't the same as when you just go to it from features and traits.
Oh.
Like it's like slightly different.
Mm.
I don't know why. So
Yeah, I was looking
actually,
at it in extras.
Yeah, I actually printed out his thing from when you go to features and traits, just because it's kind of hard to get to.
Yeah.
D&D Beyond.
It is.
And now I see it. It's spell attack modifier to hit. So.
D20 +4, I believe.
Yeah, +4.
You sure it's not +5?
What are your other spells? Let's take a look.
Oh no, her modifier is a +5. That's correct.
There you go.
Okay, so
Sorry.
it's D20 +5.
+5, yeah.
Okay, so to hit, it's 8.
Wait, read that again. Is it spell attack modifier?
That's what it says. Spell attack. Would that be 9?
That's +9 then.
Okay,
is it?
let's re-roll. Let's re-roll.
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
let
yeah,
you
sorry.
reroll. That's okay.
19.
Nice. You scratch at the creature and hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
1d8 +3.
+3.
There we go. 9.
9. You watch as Wolfie rears up and brings down one of his sharp claws against the creature. It scratches into it. You see a little bit of blood underneath.
Nice.
Anything else from Wolfie?
No. Can stay there.
All right. That means that it is this little critter's turn. It is going to attempt to try and bite Wolfie since it is just right up in its face attacking it. Does an 11 hit its AC? I have to roll a disadvantage. I'll fish for a crit 1. Nope.
It does not. He has 15 AC.
It misses. It is going to... Well, it's going to hold its ground. This is its territory. Why would it leave?
True.
This other one begins to run into the darkness.
Interesting. But is he the highlighted one?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Even in this darkness, Monifa, you see something running your way. It attempts to make a bite at you as it bumps into you, and just like you just hear the crunch of coins where it radically misses you, and it just sort of runs over here.
Okay.
Hang on, let me double check. This is some weird rolls that we don't typically run into. I just want to check Fairy Fire.
I mean, when I picked Fairy Fire, I was not thinking of this situation at all.
Objects and affected creatures shed dim light in a 10-foot radius. Any attack roll against an affected creature or object has disadvantage if the attacker can see it. Let me see here. Magical darkness spreads from a point you can see within range of 15-foot radius sphere. Darkness spreads around corners. A creature with dark vision can't see through the darkness, and non-magical light can't illuminate it. However, Fairy Fire is magical because it's from a spell. So in this case, I'm going to say not only can you see it, Alloy, but Monifa, you just see around you an inky blackness and the bluish sparks of an outline of an arm Vorax a couple feet away from you.
Nice.
Big daughter.
It just tries to bite at you and frantically scrapes across the ground. You can hear the plinking sound of coins being kicked around. You actually, as you shift your feet around, can hear the sound of crunching coins underneath. It's not able to do anything else. Modifier, you're up, by the way.
All right. So, how is it? How close is it to me?
It
5 feet,
is.
10 feet?
It is 10 feet away from you. It's
10
right here.
Okay, perfect. I'll attack it since I use a whip. I
We'll
have
just-
a 10-foot reach.
We'll just say, theater of mind, you can't see anything, just to make it easier for you. How about that?
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah,
So,
you
I
can
have
move
a
up and
10-foot
attack it.
reach. And since I have advantage since it's covered in fairy fire, right?
As weird as it is, you can't see anything else, but you can see it. So yes, by the rules written, you have advantage on it.
24 to hit, and since it can't see me,
It
that would be a
can't.
sneak attack, right?
Yes, it would. It cannot see
Oh.
shit in the darkness.
So, how's that? An extra 3d6. So, first I do this.
Ally, you hear coming from what is likely within the center of the darkness, the cracking of your mother's whip. Things are getting serious in there.
No, interesting.
You're hoping, luckily, for your mom.
Oh man.
15 damage.
You guys can both see the outline of these blue sparkles as the creature rears back from the cracking of your whip as you throw it out towards it and deal a solid amount of damage to it with your sneak attack, Modifier.
And then, since it felt like it was 10 feet, since I can see it's 10 feet away, I'll actually just hold my ground and end my turn, I think. Yeah.
Okay. You get your sneak attack anytime you would have advantage on a creature?
Yes. Yeah. As long as I'm using a finesse or ranged weapon, if you have advantage on the roll, on the attack roll, you don't need advantage if another enemy of the target is within 5 feet of it.
So even in bright light, if these creatures could see, with the fairy fire on it
Yep.
from your daughter, you would always get your sneak attack damage on these creatures.
Oh yes. Me and Alloy are the best.
What a
No
combo.
one's
Yeah, you can definitely see you smack it with your whip and her rears back. Alloy, you are up. You can't see your mom, but you can certainly see that she is cracking her whip at the Orm Vorax inside the Circle of Darkness.
Good job, Mom.
Don't let up. We've got them.
I'm gonna try to make another attack at the one in front of Wolfie.
Okay.
So let's see. 26. Thank you.
That is going to hit.
All right. Now I have 2 attacks per action, and normally loading a crossbow would mess that up, but my crossbow is infused because I'm an artificer and I ignore any loading property.
Nice.
So
It just has a big stalk of bolts underneath attached to it.
yeah. So that is 25 damage.
So you have
total.
two attacks.
Oh wait, and because of the infusion,
You have two
Here, can I-
attacks.
can I put it in there? No, that didn't work.
You're able to take the attack action twice on your character. Just know that to do that, you have to roll 2 times to make sure and hit.
Oh.
So your
I'm gonna
first
roll
one
again.
hit, I'll take the 9 damage. But yeah, go ahead and roll again to see if you hit it a second time.
27.
Oh, definitely. That hits too.
And
Put that in the
I'll
chat.
go ahead and roll again.
Okay. Yeah, let's do the
Well,
damage
and
again.
before you add up any of that damage, let me check my crossbow again. Here, can I display it? No, not really.
What are you trying to?
The infusion, it grants a +1 bonus to attack.
I put it in the chat for you. It's right there. It's above your last attack.
Oh,
So
there you go.
2 extra
Yeah.
damage from both of those attacks then.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
launch 2 crossbow bolts out towards the creature. You watch as they connect and it rears back.
So that should be 24 damage total, right? 9 plus 13 plus 2.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. You launch and successfully hit the creature with your crossbow bolts. Wolfie.
Wolfie is gonna go ahead and try attack too. So we decided it's 1d20 plus 9 to hit.
Mm-hmm. Them big St. Bernard jaws, that hits.
26. And then it's d8 plus 3. Roll. 10.
It launches its steel maw down onto the Aramvorax, who tries to bite back at Wolfie's neck, but just isn't able to pierce through, as it's being sort of like wrung back and forth in like this massive St. Bernard mouth. And your Wolfie just throws it back down on the ground. You can see blood kind of splatter around as the creature hisses violently. Anything else from Wolfie?
No. He's just gonna stay there.
All right. The Aramvorax's turn. Let me see which one of these goes first. This one, okay. This one, as you see, its pelt is now smeared with certain tufts of red fur from the damage it's taken. It begins to run your way past Wolfie. Does Wolfie get an attack of opportunity against something?
Good question.
I don't know how that works with Steel Defenders.
It doesn't say on his thing that he gets opportunity attacks.
Okay, that may be something we can ask some of the other players like Luke or Kyle, because they may have a better idea. I'm just going to say no for now, but we can change that for the main campaign.
Yeah, I don't see anything about it, so I really have no idea.
So it just like quickly scampers by Wolfie, and you watch Aloys. It begins to scamper by you. Let me see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Let me actually see and make sure, because these are bulky boys. Yeah, these guys can move. 25, 30. Do you want to do anything as it leaves your threat range or your reaction? You watch as it frantically skitters by, specks of blood trailing behind it.
I mean, can I opportunity attack it?
Yeah, left your threat range. If you want to make an attack of opportunity, you can.
Okay. How do I do that?
Just
Do I
roll
have
a...
to, like,
You can roll
to hit?
Yeah, roll
Yeah,
a
it's just
regular
a normal
attack.
attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to use your crossbow,
22 to hit.
that hits.
And so that does 16 plus 1, so 17 damage.
Shit. Fires right into the creature's butt as it screeches and continues to skitter away. Let's see. 5, 10 for the rest of its movement, up to 40. It is now this other one's turn. This one pops out of the darkness and sees your dog here and wants to snack on it some. So it bites at Wolfie. And does 20 hit?
It does.
All right, it's going to be 1d6 plus 2, so it takes 6 piercing damage.
All right.
And then as it bites Wolfie, it launches at Wolfie's neck and bites down and almost like just falls as if it's acting as dead weight, dragging Wolfie to the ground. Wolfie is now grappled and prone.
Oh no. Okay.
Let me see here. So we got that, and then I'll just find the fist.
I threw the question about the Steel Defender in the group chat. Kyle thinks that it would be able to make an attack of opportunity. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Since
Okay.
it can move and use its reaction on its own.
Okay. Well, then we'll rule that going forward here. It pulls Wolfie down to the ground and attempts to slash at it with its claws. Here they come. Does a 12 hit AC?
No.
How about a 14?
Nope.
22.
Yep.
It takes an additional 4 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
The rest of the claws, 16 versus AC?
Yes.
8 points of slashing damage. Complete miss on the 5th, so I'll say its final one misses too. So overall, there is 8, there is 12, and there is 16 actually.
16. Okay,
Yep.
so that would be 30. All right. We updated his health.
You watch as it grabs Woofy down to the ground and just begins to frantically use its claws as it's almost laying down on its side to just try and rip and tear into Woofy. Modifier, you're up. It seems the one with blue sparks has shifted only a few feet away from you. But you can see it looks as though it's attacking something. You can't see if it's Woofy or your daughter, but you know it's frantically launching at something.
Well, keeping... Not that I wouldn't have it already, but keeping my stealth attack, I'm staying in here and just attacking from the darkness. Ooh! Crit!
Nice.
Crit plus sneak attack damage, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7 damage plus... I would still roll the sneak attack, right? It's not automatic max damage, or is it? 'Cause it's a crit?
You roll twice and add your modifier once.
Okay.
So roll your damage dice twice, and we'll
So
take both of those.
2d4
Yeah.
plus 7. And then plus, so 13 plus my sneak attack damage. 23.
Nice. You
23,
watch.
and that's piercing? Slashing.
Slashing, okay. I know, like, what damage is a whip? That's a weird one. So this is going to go to this here. Alloy, you watch as leaving the orb of darkness is the crackle of the whip as it slaps hard against the underside of the arm Vorax, and just a rake of blood slings across onto the nearby pillar as it screeches hard. Anything else, Monifa?
Why not? Just because I'm in the darkness, I will move up another 5 feet.
You are
And
now
then-
adjacent to it, yep. Although it still can't see you.
It's I don't know how to flavor this yet, so I'm using flurry of blows.
Okay, sure.
So-
You go.
Oh goodness, what a freaking roll with advantage even. Well, that misses. I'm sure it's an 8.
Yeah, unfortunately, you
goodness.
throw out a series of sharp cat claws, but unfortunately miss it.
That's gonna be it.
All right, Alloy and Woofy. What do you guys want to do? You first, Alloy, and then Woofy second.
Let me take a look at my spell.
One of them seems to be scampering away from you guys. You're not sure where it's going, and then the second one down below you is trying to attack Woofy, but seems to be pretty hard slapped by that whip from Monifa. You guys can also, you guys can't see the health of the creatures, but I generally try to flavor how much damage has been done to them, and you can always make checks to see where they're health at with a nature check, or a medicine check rather.
If you do a check, though, that doesn't count as like an action.
Nope.
Does that count as anything, like a bonus action or anything? Or is it just...
Knowledge, what I say is knowledge checks are free in my game, so 6 seconds is in each round, so like Alloy just really quickly looking at something to see how much blood is on it, that wouldn't take up any time. So
Okay.
unless you're like actively like hunting for something, like looking in drawers and stuff in the middle of combat, that would be your whole action as a search action, but you're just looking and quickly determining how badly it is. So you could do this and attack and whatever else if you wanted to. Just letting you know you can do that in combat. You can make other checks too. You can make like a nature or animal handling check to see what that one up there is doing that's running. A couple different things. Whatever you feel like Alloy would do.
Well, let me try to make a nature, I guess, on this one.
Okay.
And let's see what it's doing. So, 18 nature.
What's up, Anna? The god mode. With your 18 nature, you're trying to just figure out what it's up to.
Yeah.
It is without even really needing to make a nature check. It is badly wounded. It is dripping blood, and it looks like, even though this is its territory, likely the area that it is hanging out with, possibly its mate. You guys have so fiercely come in and attacked it that it is just taking off.
Well, mom seems like she has this one handled with her whip.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna try to hit this one up here.
Okay, sure.
28 to hit.
28 is going to hit.
And then that does 10 piercing.
What does it look like when you kill it?
I just shoot it. Does it have, like, what's his head look like?
You can always do this too. I just want to point out too. You can always tell me, like I did when we played with Kyle last night. You can always say if you want to do non-lethal damage and essentially just knock it out instead of killing something. It's up to you. I'm just pointing it out. I'm not saying you have to do any of that stuff. I'm just trying to.
Yeah. Well, these things are known as vermin.
They're massive
Pests.
pests in this area. Yeah.
So
Absolutely, vermin.
we'll go ahead and kill it because
Disgusting things.
we're on a job.
All right.
So go ahead and kill it.
What's it look like when you kill it?
I just pierce it through the head. And I'm clean.
It just slumps over with your bolt as you watch it connect from the back side of its head. One down.
Nice.
You get 2 attack actions, so.
I do. Well, then I will try to hit this one next to Wolfie.
All right.
18. to
That unfortunately misses it.
hit. Oh, man. Okay. And I'm going to use my bonus then. Well, I guess I would have to use my bonus to get Wolfie out of the prone.
You would,
Right.
yeah, you would need to use your
It
bonus
can
action.
move. It moves.
That count
without
as
movement.
just movement?
No,
Standing up takes half your movement.
well, she's asking about the grappled part.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's
to get
okay.
him ungrappled to make that check.
You'd have to use your bonus action so that it could make a either athletics or acrobatics check to try and break free of the grapple first.
Well, athletics, he gets +5. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that for him. 18 athletics roll.
And this
for him.
is just going to be against this one here. Woofy breaks free. You watch as he kicks off and away from the Aramvorax.
Nice.
Woofy is still on the ground, so it would take half of his movement to get up, but that doesn't cost anything for you to have him do. So you could just yell at him for him to get up and get away from it if you wanted to, or if you want to keep him right there, that's up to you.
He'll just stay right there. Is anything? What is this on him? Is he still?
That's just him.
He's fine now,
He's prone. So
Oh, he's still prone.
do you want him to stand up?
Oh yeah. I want
Okay.
him to stand up,
Yeah, he kind of gets up off the ground. There you go.
And he still has 20 feet of movement left after that, so I'll just have him move up,
Sure.
kind of in between me. And
Yeah. Interpose himself. Okay.
Yeah.
Woofy does that. It is the Aramvorax's turn. Let me see. It tries to make a bite attack at Woofy again.
Right.
Well, that's going to hit.
Definitely hits.
Woofy is unfortunately, again, grappled and pulled to the ground by these nasty things. Better Woofy than you guys, though. What's that? You want to do anything?
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. No, I don't want to do anything. Yeah.
Woofy's going to take 4 points of bite damage, piercing damage, and then it's going to try and run its claws. First claw, 12 misses, 8 misses, 13 misses, right?
13 misses. Yeah.
Okay. 12 misses. Wow. 14 misses?
14 misses. Yeah.
Wow. Only the last one hits for 4 points of slashing damage. So wow, what a bunch of shit rolls. So 8 points overall as it is dragged down to the ground. Yeah, you see some of the metal plates of Wolfie are being pretty scratched, and one of them even flecks off, and you can kind of see some whirs and gears coming from underneath Wolfie. But Wolfie is still alive and kicking. And it is done, which rolls back. Monifa, you're up.
All right, let's put this thing down. Oh,
Oh
11
no.
hit.
Yeah, you crack your whip, and you're not sure if it hits or not. Aloe, you can see the whip shoot out from the darkness, but it just slaps against the wall nearby instead of hitting the creature.
Mom,
Yeah.
I think you missed. Oh man.
I'm
These
done.
things are beefy.
Yeah, they are beefy. They eat gold. They eat gold! Aloe, you and Wolfie are up.
You said something weird was going on with this column. Can I make some kind of check and see what else is going on with
Sure,
this?
sure.
Investigation
Yeah.
or perception?
A perception would work. Investigation would work. Tell you
I'd
different
rather do-
things.
I'd much rather do. Well, yeah, I'd much rather do investigations. 21.
With a 21 check, you get the sense that because of the way the rubble fell, you get the sense that there's nothing like hiding in there per se, but actually these parts of the actual columns, because the Aramvorax have a diet of mostly gold, that they likely were just trying to just eat some of the walls too, and so just some of the pebbles and broken pieces of gold brick from the wall were toppling over. Doesn't look like anything is gonna crawl out of there though.
All right. Good. Well, I will try to attack this one then.
That's why Halcyon hates these things a lot, because they they have imbibed the city and covered it in gold, but they also now have an infestation of creatures that could eat literally houses.
Yeah. All right, that's 28 to
Oh,
hit.
totally hits.
And that is 17 piercing.
Oh, it strikes it hard. You watch as it just enters underneath the fur into the creature's neck.
Good. Attack again.
Hits.
25. So that is 11.
What does it look like when you kill it?
How big are these things?
They're small size, so they're bigger than a house cat, but they're like lady size. They're like a runt dog, you know.
They look like a lady. No. I just skewer it.
Yeah.
Bob it.
You watch, Monifa, as the lights that were once covering this creature begin to dissipate, and get the sense that it has been felled by your daughter. Wolfie now is able to kind of kick away from the dead creature and pull itself back up.
I'll drop the darkness.
Okay. With a flick of your hand, you watch as the darkness dissipates and you see Alloy, your mom, stepping out from it.
Nice.
Good job, Doctor. We make a good team as always.
We do.
Let's check these doors. Report back.
As you step around Monifa, you notice a large portion of coinage has been spilled at your feet. All kinds of mixtures of coins sit there.
Mom, we're here on a job.
Give me a perception check, Monifa.
Turn off. Hold on. Ugh, 7.
As you are just like, as your daughter is beginning to move towards the other doors and just kind of kick a foot through the shifting coins at your feet, you see just for a second a piece that looked different from the others, not round or flat, but certainly made of gold, that seems to have shifted through the pile you just kicked.
Maybe we should clean this up for them.
Mom, they told us not to take anything.
I actually mean clean it up this time.
Okay, this time. I know what happened last time you cleaned something up.
Is this our chests? Do they look heavy? Could I move this over there?
They are relatively heavy. It appears with a strength athletic check, though, you could probably drag them to where you need to go.
Or, Cartwheel. Here, boy.
Oh,
That's his name.
Woofy is his name. He can come over
Wolfie.
and help.
Actually, before that, I'm gonna have him cast repair on himself. He gets to do this 3 times a day, so he gets 2d8 plus my proficiency bonus, which is 2d8 plus 3.
You watch as you call Monifa for Woofy. Look back over. You can see Woofy grabbing one of the plates that was detached from the attack with the arm vorax, and he uses his jaws to stick it back in place. A couple sparks shooting out as he's repairing himself.
He gets 12 health back, so he's at 35.
Bark.
And I won't be a part of this cleaning up business, but I'll send Wolfie over if Mom wants his help.
Let me drag this thing. You look stronger than me.
I'll say with Woofy's help, Monifa, you can make an athletics check with advantage as it grabs one of the side handles as you guys try and pull it across the floor.
Alexa, off.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I want to drag the chest over here.
Okay,
And...
give me an athletic check with advantage.
Okay, with advantage. Cool. Athletics. 13.
That's enough. It takes you a minute or so to drag it across, but I'll say that you can you just dragging it over next to the coins over here.
Yeah. It's not unlocked, I'm assuming, is it? Or
as you take a look, it appears as though it probably did have a padlock on it, and you do notice as you begin to drag it from its original position that it seems as though the Arm Vorax this is probably one of the chests they got the coins from, because it's been raked off, and as you crack it open just a little bit, can see that it was filled probably with more gold, and this is likely where they got some of its little nests that they made.
Just what I figured. Time to put it back, I suppose, this time. And so I'll roll an investigation if you want, but while I am putting the stuff away.
Sure.
I'm gonna really watch what I'm putting in there. And
Sure.
What's in here.
Sure. Give me either sleight of hand or a perception check. Oh, you're doing investigation instead. I'll say.
Sorry, what was it?
Do a sleight of hand or a perception check.
Oh.
Those would work better.
And while she's doing that, can I just roll an investigation to check out these 2 doors?
If you want, Alloy, the other creatures have been taken care of. We can say that while she's cleaning this up, if you want to just do a kind of casing of the rest of the doors around here, just give me another check, a final Arcana check on them all.
Oh, well, I did investigation.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, you take a couple seconds and make sure, even if you're not sure at first, you're not on any time limit, so you can make sure, and you kind of just do a once around. And it seems as though the Arm Vorax were smart enough to not try and get into any of the individual vaults, and instead went for just some of the cursory chests that were out here in the main venue area.
All right.
And then Monifa, you said, okay, sleight of hand.
24. It won't twice. I don't know why.
You're using your outfit to kind of scoop some coinage in it and pull it up like a handkerchief type of thing to hold them in and just kind of pour them into the chest. As you do, you're making sure to kind of just run your tabaxi hand across the coins, just looking for that weird one out of place item that you saw. And as Alloy's running around finishing up the last checks, and as you're clearing the last bits of coinage off the ground here, pushing through the coinage and loading it onto the bottom of, are you like wearing a skirt or something like that?
It's like a dress, except it's flicked up on the outside of both my legs.
Do you have one of those, like, I don't even know what you call it, like on the front of your outfit, do you have like one of those longer pieces that runs down? Think of like a like Beerus's outfit.
It's strapped around me, but then there is like a I don't know fashion, but yeah, it's like wrapped around my midsection.
Okay, like a belt sash type of thing.
Yeah.
So we'll say you're like scooping stuff into your belt sash, and as you're loading one of the final handfuls, you kind of jingle it as you're getting ready to put it in, and you see this strangely shaped item begin to filter its way back up to the top. And as you look down, you can see a item clearly made of gold. However, it is not a coin. It looks like the finger of a human, but it is made out of solid gold. Broken off at what is, you assume, the knuckle level. Slightly arched.
So I do want to try to pocket that, if possible, without Alloy seeing that.
Sure, make a stealth check. And then Alloy, make a perception check.
Perception check.
Yep. Roll off. Oh,
Perception's 4.
Oh no.
So I would just slip it. I'll just slip that into like
a
in a pocket.
Yeah, like a magician card trick. You run a hand, and the golden finger is gone as you kind of just nonchalantly pour the rest of the coinage into the chest here.
I look over there and I'm like, Mom, you're not taking anything, are you?
You never bite the hand that feeds you, honey.
Okay.
You can make an insight check if you want.
Me?
If you wanted
If
to,
you want.
yeah. If you don't believe her.
Nah, I'm not gonna question it too much.
She knows her mom too well. You're probably lying, but okay.
It's probably ignorance is probably bliss in this situation.
Probably,
so.
yeah. All right. You see as you look over Alloy that your mom has basically worked the last bits of the coin. You're just like throwing in a couple scattered pieces from in the distance, and the chest is full, Modifier.
All right. Well, I suppose if the doors are better, are fine, and we've cleaned up this, we'll let them know what happened. But these Vorax maybe catch a pretty penny out there, considering they eat gold, and we're not stealing anything. These guys already ate it.
But they're gonna want them to get their cost back.
Well, let's drag them out and see what they say.
Okay.
The worst they can say is no.
Okay.
So you guys leaving the chest in its place and taking some time to grab both bodies, begin to drag out the armed Vorax. They are heavy. Let me actually go check. I believe an armed Vorax weighs like 500 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So there's no time constraints. I'm not going to make you guys do a check, but you're just like slowly making your way in terms of just like dragging them out. As you guys get up to right here, as you're dragging them out, if you want to zoom back over to the kind of left area here, and making your way out at the steps, you guys make one final look up towards the north area, and it is about right here that Alloy, similar to that other pillar area when you were in some combat with the armed Vorax, you see what looks like a slight crevice in the wall that you didn't notice before, and a couple pieces of small gold brick have fallen to the ground, and you guys actually notice that you can just barely pierce through a little open slit of the crevice, and it looks as though it's hollow behind the wall.
All right, I'm gonna go over here.
What
I'm gonna,
is that?
I just need to go check this out, make sure the integrity isn't messed up.
Of
And then we'll
course.
see.
It's really tough to see through, Alloy. You can like peer an eye inside. It's basically like, think of like almost like a half inch of this crevice that is maybe like a 1.5 feet wide. And you can kind of see some very tiny pieces of debris that have collected at the floor. You can peer an eye inside, and you can see inside with your dark vision, but all you can see is what looks like the wall of a smaller, perhaps hidden room behind this wall.
Interesting. Mom, do you think we should check it out? It might be where the vermin were coming from.
Interesting. Let me take a look. I roll perception as well. 17.
Even with your check, Monifa, you can similarly see. It looks, with your check, you can at least make out that this is probably a relatively small room, probably not too dissimilar in size to this room here with the seat and desk that you guys are currently in. But to actually see more, you'd probably need to find some way to break apart this wall, which the structure of it seems to already be a little damaged from the arm Vorax. But you need to maybe apply some type of force or find some way to peer in better from than just poking an eye at the hole.
Let's see.
Before we do this, I mean, I don't know if it's really gonna matter, but can I just cast Cure Wounds on Monifa?
Sure. You lay a hand on Monifa and you feel a regenerative magic energy flow through you, Monifa.
So she heals 10.
Nice.
Always looking out for me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, daughter? I mean, I'm sure, given enough time, the Vorax could have made a sizable hole in this, and we were just looking on the other side to make sure everything looked copacetic. And I pull out a crowbar from my pack.
she's like already getting ready.
What do you think?
I don't know, Mom. I don't know if I want to be a part of it. But, if you want to go ahead.
I mean, look at the
I
damage.
certainly didn't see anything.
Look at the damage the armed Vorax did. Are there, Jason, is there any other security in here that, like, there's no, like, not, obviously, I don't know, there's not, like, cameras, but anything?
No
I
other
don't know.
security. Usually there is a pair of gold eye that watch over each of these vaults. But you guys have been sent in here, so you're like a tier above any gold eye. You're respected members of the Bullionaire Bastion, so they've allowed you to come in here knowing that you probably, at least what they think, won't be causing any trouble. So unless there's something you don't know about, you guys typically know that besides gold eye stationed outside on each of these floating platforms for these individual vaults, there typically is no other security. And in this case, from what you guys saw from the outside, it's likely just you two here.
All right, so I wedge the crowbar into the crack, and I also have a hammer.
You can work it in
so
there.
I'm just kind of chip off pieces to maybe I can get a little bit of a bigger hole to see a bit more.
Sure.
Do you want like an athletics or something?
Yeah, give me like an athletics check, sure. At advantage because you're using the crowbar. I'll say that. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's right. 15.
You keep working at the crevice area, and you watch as the crevice grows. You see this large line that's cutting into the gold brick begin to expand with each of your clinks from your hammer. And you watch as it begins to streak up and surround a large chunk of gold. And with one final streak, as you clink the hammer into the crowbar, you wrench the crowbar to the right, and a large portion of the gold brick falls to your feet. It's not huge, but it's sizable enough to be probably like 2 head sizes worth, almost like a porthole size, as it falls to the ground. And it's not completely open, You'd probably have to break it open more if you wanted to climb inside, but I will show you what you do see inside, since now you'd probably have enough view to be able to at least peer in from where you are standing. So I'm going to remove here.
Really could do some damage.
You peer into this darkened hidden room, and what you see is a number of humanoid figures. All of them look to be made out of pure gold. Some completely set and complete in their form, standing up. You notice quite a few of them have horrified looks on their faces, or looks of anguish. And you can also see, kind of stepping on your tippy toes, both of you, that at the bottom are just pieces of some of them that have fallen, broken off.
Can I do like a history or like an arcana? Like, have I ever seen anything like this before?
Sure.
What do you want?
Either one. They'll tell you different things.
I'll do arcana. 10.
With an arcana check, you have researched about creatures that have the ability to petrify others and turn them into stone, but you've never seen anything like this, Alloy, as though actual people have been turned to solid gold and not stone.
I've never seen anything like this, Mom. Are these statues? What are they?
Feeling those Vorax seem to have gotten into something I don't think we want any part of, at least not yet.
Yeah,
Never seen anything like this before, though.
I feel like maybe we should just forget we ever saw this.
Just let them know that they did a bit more damage, but everything seems to be in place. Oh well.
Okay.
You guys step away.
Information is the best treasure anyway, so.
You guys head back over to the Vorax corpses, and I'm assuming go ahead and begin to drag them up the stairs to head back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you head back out, you can see in the distance an approaching spelljammer, and as you make your way out of the doors back into the open, bright area of the top side here, a beautiful view over the sides of the lookout here across the rest of the city. You do remember, Alloy, that the front doors here were not working correctly still.
Maybe you can repair.
Yeah, can I go ahead and try to repair them with some of my tools and stuff?
Sure. You slip on over to the panel, the arcane panel, as Monifa and Woofy are continuing to kind of drag the corpses out across these steps. So yeah, give me some type of arcana or investigation check, whichever one you want to do.
Just try arcana again. 13.
Sure. Yeah, with a 13, it takes you a minute or two, but you run your wrench inside, make a couple of adjustments. There was a piece of steel that was conductive to the device that had been bent from the claw scratches of what was likely the Vorax that were probably able to sneak inside of this place, use it by kind of just scratching away and disabling the security. So you bend that back into place, and you hear the whir and hum of the device, and as you set the panel back and close it, you can now see the golden square ring of the device light up, and you hear the sound of stone shifting, and as you turn, you see both of the gold doors now automatically coming to a close and locking.
Nothing you can't fix, is there, daughter?
So as you guys finish that up, a spelljammer, which looks similar to the style of like a normal large lavish boat, but with a large like air balloon above it, pulling up and landing. As you guys begin to work, both of you helping to try and drag these Vorax to hopefully maybe get some use out of their pelts and make a bit of extra coin along with the finishing of this assignment. Pulling it over to the spelljammer. Usually there's just sort of like a ferryman who is at the spelljamming helm that will take you back down. As you guys begin to step up to the ladder that will lead you up to the top deck, peering from over the side is a eidolon that looks very similar to the description in your notes, Pofri. that is the actual individual that owns this vault. They peer over, and any generic tokens in my game, I'm going to be using this icon. So just, theater of the mind. As he peers over, you see the eccentric nature of his garb and his hair. And as he looks over and stares at you all, he says, good. Did everything go okay? Were you able to fix everything that I needed? What was the cause of the issues going on with my vault? Was it robbers?
No, unfortunately, it's that interminable pests we can never get away from here. The armed Vorax, as you can see here, we dragged them out, but they caused some damage, it looks like, to the walls and pillars inside, and there was a chest broken open. I filled it back up with whatever they didn't eat. But otherwise, the doors and everything else seemed secure.
He looks down at the dead bodies of the armed Borax and sneers his nose a bit and says, please tell me you're not bringing those things on board.
Well, I mean, they are dead, and if you know the right places, they can sell for a pretty penny, and I figured I'd take them off your hands.
Very well. Come aboard. We shall ferry home. You have done an excellent job. I trust everything else besides that was in order.
Yes, like I said, they just caused some damage to the walls. There was some crumbling areas of the walls and pillars, but everything else
Which
seemed in
areas seem to have taken damage?
central pillars, sort of in the central area, and a northern wall looked like it was a bit broken down.
A northern wall, you say?
Structurally, though, everything looked fine. So
yes, nothing
we kind of left
was.
it. I repaired the doors. Everything should be fine now. You just might want to make some repairs in there.
He leers. He leers his eyes your way as if studying you each for a second. And then his face returns to a smile. Well, fantastic. Come aboard then. A job well done, you two.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
So you guys climb aboard with the help of the Eidolon Porphyry, as well as the helmsman who stepped out to help you drag these really heavy-ass corpses back on board. You guys can complete this mission, and starting out in the actual campaign, you guys will have an extra 1,000 gold to each of you to spend after finishing and completing this. So if there's anything else before we start the campaign that you want to purchase or anything like that, you're welcome to do it. So that is it. As you guys boarded the Spelljammer, you begin to fly back down towards the surface. A job well done, although strange things have been found while in the vault that will... light will be shed on as we enter into the main campaign, and this will be a great way to tie your characters into... You're already part of the Bullionaire Bastion, but this is the perfect segue to tie you into this secret group that is being formed to rid the demonic scourge out from within the network of the Bullionaire Bastion. So that's it.
That was fun.
Excellent.
Cool.
Thank you.
That was a lot of combat, and admittedly, there's not going to be a lot of combat in my game. However,
It was fun though.
I'm glad you had fun. Yeah, you guys did. You guys have some really crazy combos you can actually do together.
Yeah, if there's more combat, we're definitely gonna have to do that dark bomb and fairy fire thing again.
Yeah, this will not be without any combat. It's just combat will likely be rare in this campaign. So,
yeah, right. Yeah.
But it's really nice for you guys to kind of test out your characters. Just because you may not be attacking things per se in combat, that doesn't mean that you won't be using your abilities and maybe even some of your attacks for other things outside of combat. So a great way for you guys to test out some of your stuff, like that darkness bomb. All of those things could be very well usable outside of combat if you're trying to do some espionage between the two of you or whatever else the Bastion may have you doing. So hopefully
I got some things, like some spells that I thought would be useful out of combat because I knew there wouldn't be that much. Like I have alarm, which lets me like set an alarm.
helpful.
Like a door, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I also have this enlarge reduce spell, which could be really fun because I can literally like make people really big and smaller.
Make your mom smaller to fit
including
inside.
my constructs. So
Nice.
that could be cool.
Nice.
Invisibility, have that too.
That's
Nice.
super helpful.
Yeah, and I have darkness. Darkness spell. I can cast silence. Pass without trace. I feel like it's going to be very useful to us this session, this campaign.
Thank you,
Plus
Bay.
10 to stealth.
Thank you, Bay and Ka, for stopping by to watch. Yeah, your Monifa character has a lot of really cool stealth stuff. I was just looking at your character sheet before we played. There's a lot of really neat stuff. So hopefully you guys had fun and got to test out some abilities of your characters both in and outside of combat. And yeah, from here, we're going to take 6 days off. And then Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, is the beginning of Devils in the Details.
Let's go.
So, and you said plus 1,000 gold, right?
Plus 1,000 gold, yes.
All right, I went ahead
None
and
for
added
Kyle.
that.
As a mixture of both your contract being completed as well as bringing in some corpses that once the pelts have been rendered from them will sell for good money, so 1,000 each.
Nice.
Always land on their feet.
I love this voice. You'll have to listen to the VOD, Kevin, so you can hear your voice.
I'm definitely going
it's
to.
Great. So thank you guys so much. I hope you had fun watching. Thanks, Anna, and thank you, Bay and Ka, for stopping by and hanging out. This was a little session 0 to mostly let Amanda get used to her character. I know we played Kyle's campaign last night. And then we did this one here, which was a lot of the same elements, but just this time with her character to get used to that. Which we did come across some stuff that we had to figure out, which was good. So we already know a couple really things. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to return back here next Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for some Devils in the Details, the premiere episode. I hope you guys are excited for it. There's all kinds of cool Twitch channel rewards that I'm going to be turning on for that you can do. You can switch the karma coin in between players. You can affect the stock market. If a player is down on their luck in terms of making some stock exchange trades and you want to give them a little boost in terms of their bullion, there's also that reward. So lots of fun stuff that you'll be able to do to help interact and affect the campaign. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be very interesting to see what the characters do in terms of the morality and what choices they want to make. I don't want to go into too many details, but you guys will see from the very first session that things may be a little bit more complicated than just ridding Bullionaire Bastion and other demons or devils. So thank you so much. I'm headed out for now. I hope you had fun. I'm going to chat with Kevin and Amanda offline and just make sure that they're all good to go. But yes, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming a little old school Spelljammer, like a DOS version of the game, Pirates of Realm Space. So join me for that. That should be fun. And I'll post my schedule for the upcoming week. But yeah, I'm excited. We took a couple weeks off there from our campaign, but we are diving right back into the latest and greatest mini campaign that's an offshoot of our main campaign, Weird and Wild, next Friday. So thank you everybody for stopping by. I'm headed out. Be safe out there and have a good one. Bye.
Bye, darling.